I'm going to go ahead and get right into the list. Number 1, living in the free world, manifesting a kingdom from higher vibrating emotions coupled with vision. Two, I'm immersed in a creative unfoldment, living within a rapidly advancing culture and group of close confidence and creative geniuses. I had a vision recently. I don't know when it happened. I started kind of seeing 2078 where I'm residing, like what it looked like, and it was more calm. And I realized in 2078, more people, the majority of populations in many areas of the earth are using mental telepathy, and their lives are a lot more geared towards these types of things. So we're all living in these small, they're not particularly small, but in these dome homes. And I feel as though this will be the time when my book starts, getting more and more. Hopefully I can merge 2072 with the time frame we're in now, but I just don't even feel the pulse to do it. I would rather almost do anything else except for do these videos to help you. I am thankful for my incorruptible sovereign body mind template. See, I pulled these cards this morning. This is what I've been going through in the past week. And I started reading them, and then I had a wave of nausea overcome me because I'm in this state where the hand of God is the guidance and direction towards soul forces. This is the first card. I've prayed and I've directed and I've envisioned, but then I came to a point where things were happening. My house within probably 8 weeks just completely transformed, and I was able to actually really freely start doing things I wanted to do because of the list that I read in the prior video, which I read for you. I still read it to this day. I don't read it every single day. I probably read it once or twice a week, but I have all my lists with me, and this is the work I'm doing. So when I'm first looking at my day, I'm looking at my list. And there's the visualization process that you use to embody these visions or scenarios, or 3 or 4 pronged wheels of alchemy, because you can take the statements and make them into 3 or 4 words, and they're basically, the calling card for the statement. So once you've read it enough times, it just becomes more of an embodiment. Because see, if I can really create a container of these higher visions and these higher ideas, then the container becomes to supersede the small life that I have. See, here's my little life right here, and then here's the container. I am thankful for my incorruptible sovereign body mind template. I love that one. 4, I am thankful for a future full of love and real work for the sovereign citizens. See? So the other thing I started noticing and seeing, like, how would that work? Well, that would be a society where all ages, all groups, all talents, all people would be utilized in a way. So by the time you got to be my time of life, I'd be going in and out of areas and helping out. And doing that, it wouldn't end for me. It would just change according to my needs. So that gives me this, so that kind of hooks in with that other vision I have. I could go into more detail about what it means. So basically what it means, if you read my book, there's four levels where Making Myth Your Movement works. The first and foremost thing that Making Myth Your Movement does is it gives you specific, detailed answers to the questions you're asking. And when you're doing the process the way it's intended, we're in a dream within a dream. And we're understanding what we're looking at, and we're reading the symbols in the environment and the clues, and then we're developing a bigger perspective by looking at it. And then it's giving us more ideas to formulate the vision, and then we're doing the alchemy polarity to create the vision. And the doppelganger training, it starts out by looking at people, places, and things that give you that power. Like for me, one of the Well, I would say first, I have pop stars that I love. Rihanna, I love her, and then I also love Justin Bieber. Rihanna is the leader of the cat people. Rihanna is amazing. She, I guess it's easy for me to say that to you because you can link into her archetype and you can understand what I'm saying, right? Justin Bieber is the divine child. I have two sub-identities that are males. Justin Bieber is one, the divine child. When I first started embodying him, I was out bike riding one day and he came into my body in such a way that I became him. And then I started experimenting with it because there was so much soul force. Men, you know, the testosterone and the way they are, and plus him, he's totally metrosexual, right? So he's got this beautiful combination of the masculine and the feminine and the creative force. For him to, he has a way of making women want to mother him, and he to me, I look at him like a son, but I also can become him. So there was a period of time where I was dressing like him. I really felt like him. And let me see, just going. 5. I am thankful to be able to be part of the 12 tribes and accepted as a helper, not a joiner, to take place within the family of life. So basically what that's saying is I'm thankful to be part of the family of life, and I can be part of things and people but still retain my own sovereignty within the family of life. So I don't have to feel like in order to be part of something I have to be a joiner, not just somebody who is there to be a helper. Right? 6. I have children, love, peace, acceptance for who I am in my life. So as far as this being video 8, I'm reading the results of the Alchemy of Clarity I'm doing for the reading, but at the same time I want to kind of tell you where we're at as far as the level that we're at. So when we get to this level, there's this, okay, how can I explain it? The power and the force and the realization of the vision come in a myriad of ways, and they come together. See, when I've envisioned it enough, when I've taken the steps, or I've done everything I can, and I've created the scenario, and I do all those things that I need to do, then I need to kind of, it's like with the relationships that I let go of in the last 2 months, the last 2 vestiges of one-sided relationships, and the way I let go of them and what I saw. When I'm involving myself with people that they're not equally yoked, okay? There's not a give and a take. It's a give and then a take. Then I have to choose for myself how to interact in that way. Of course, in most cases, it would be that through the system that I'm creating and through the container that I'm creating, it's an integral thing that what I'm giving and taking. But when it comes down to people, places, and things that are repeatedly one-sided, basically, it's the energy is not the same on both sides. It's not even nearly the same. It's all give and no. It's all give and no. I'll take. I'll give and I'll take. Then when we let go of those situations, it frees up a space, but we have to be able to kind of conclude everything. So the reality stayed the same because it was always one-sided. It was always me. But the thing that changed was a freeing up in my space, because it was almost like trying to reestablish this sense of self-respect and co-partnership within something that was just never going to happen. So I had to kind of look at what were the dynamics with that. And the dynamics, the second one was really clear. It was a dynamic of saying you're going to do one thing, doing another, and then blaming me for it. Like I'm the one, because you say, I'm going to call, we're going to get together, we're going to talk, and this is what's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, or it's always canceled. The first one, it's just, it was easier because it was just a false need to continue any type of connection with, a genetic family, and then to see, but with every single person within that family, there's no congruence with me. And it always comes down to me looking like I'm a strange person, because it doesn't matter what I do. So now I'm back to that midpoint, to where I've created a nest. I've created an environment. If you look at my video, I put my kitchen, that was 7 weeks. Everything just got redone there. So we did the front yard, the backyard. We have our 3 apartments. We just rented our 3rd one. And my relationship is, really, there's just really nothing that I could say to even describe the monumental shift, only to say I wish it would have happened when my children were younger. It would have been a lot better outcome. I don't know why the information isn't available. All I can say is that the society in itself and the governing factions have done nothing to make families better, only worse. 7, I have a bright, joyful, and loving life with people, places, and things that accept me, honor me, and praise my work. At this juncture, every person that I have in my life is pretty respectful. And the relationships I do have are, 2-way streets. So I'm just trying to build on that. But I'm trying to build on it in a way where I'm looking at that newer, like, okay, for instance, with me. Okay, let me just put it right out there. My early marriage in the early years, and raising my children, and then how everything turned out. My daughter died, my son disowned me, and my other son went and joined a cult. That out pictured as like my life being completely destroyed, and I had like a 5-acre property. I had a big property, and I lost that. Then I lost the house in Valley Center, and now I'm living in a different town. I had several conversations with God about everything that had happened, because as far as me writing the sad and producing it, that's what I did. But God knew from beforehand that I was a terrible salesperson, and I'm like a soup Nazi. I could never sell anything. And I was able to rebuild my life enough to a degree to where I have my needs met over and above. My home is perfect for what I need in every fashion. I mean, there's things, yes, that I don't like. And then what had happened is we had a situation. This has to do with executive power. I'm going to see if we're going to talk about the situation without really talking about the situation. We have certain rules and regulations where we live, which we abide by 100%. Well, we had a lapse, and my husband had suggested maybe we should put the rental up, just in the meantime for maybe a couple of days or whatever. And I told him, no, don't do that. And he went ahead and did it. And then all of a sudden, one night he comes running in because it's hard. It's a detailed thing, because our lives are very. I am guided and directed very specifically every day. So we didn't get a renter in our 3rd rental. So I said, let's do the plumbing work that needed to be done if we don't get it rented by Sunday. Meantime, I guess he had put it on a rental site, which I wouldn't have let anybody come anyway, because there's no way I'm going to do that. I'm very particular about who comes to my property, especially since some of the things that have happened on our property when we first moved here. So he's like, oh no, blah, blah. He runs in the house and he says, so-and-so, I told him I didn't want an automatic booking, and somebody automatically booked for 2 nights. And he's like, I gotta cancel it. I go, what the hell? So anyway, he cancels it. Anyway, long story short, these people started calling my husband, I guess because once they book it, they get the address and everything, threatening my husband, threatening to come on the property, threatening to take over our property, all this stuff. And my husband was trying to call to get the rental canceled. And these people showed up at our house and were like harassing us in the street. And I told my husband, I told you not to do that. And he was just like, oh my God. So I ended up saying something twice to these people because they were basically threatening us at our home. And I knew I should leave because I knew that I didn't want it to escalate. But yeah, I was getting kind of, I was getting hot-headed basically. So I left and I went over to her praying. And when I called the prayer line, and a couple hours went by, and then I guess it was cleared up, and then they left. And then the next day, I guess Airbnb had called them and gave them an extra day rental for their problem because they should have just canceled it. Plus, I don't think that husband knew it was. Usually, what it would be like in the past, somebody would inquire and they'd text. But I guess they have this thing called instant booking, and we weren't going to do it. I guess he put it. I don't know what the deal was. But it was really interesting because I had told my husband the day before. I had a big long conversation with him about something concerning doing that type of thing, according to what had happened before with the area we live in and everything. And I told him, I said, you need to be less trusting. You need to stop being so naive about how the general population of people really are. And he was like, yeah, whatever. Like, whatever, you're paranoid. And the very next day, that happened. So, it was interesting. I thought it was interesting with the executive power. I mean, like, if you're doing the teaching, if you're looking at the clues, you're getting the information that you need. So you're able to deduce the next step. A lot of times you might not know what that next step means, so to speak, but you know, according to the variables, what would be the best thing to do. And right now, when you get to that stage, it's always better to do nothing than something if you're not getting a clear direction. So basically that's what the cards are saying, is that, once you establish executive power, it becomes this guiding force. So you're always looking in your environment to match with your list. See what I'm saying? And when it's not, you're alerted, because when you're reading the list, the alchemy comes from you doing the work. So these statements are really meaningful. So they have an impact on you because you've written them out of learned experiences. So when you're reading them, they're much more easily, basically they resonate with you. And so this card covers it or goes against it, and it's to be one body, mind, spirit, and universal body. So it's to be in atonement and be at one with that. And then the outcome is resting in the 0 point, the dynamism of pure existence. It's number 2 of the whole deck. I love this card. This is actually one of my favorite cards. It's a beautiful, amazingly beautiful. See, basically, he's all dressed in blue. He's unified. He's covered in denim, which is a strong fabric. And he's just resting from, he's been taking a long bike ride, so he's been out in nature. And he's got the feminine, which is the lioness, and her cubs. There's 3 cubs, body, mind, spirit, drinking from the water. And they're resting under the beautiful shade of this tree, but the sun, the plasmic intelligence, the sun, the central sun is blazing through. Eight, I am fully forgiven. 9, I am thankful for existing within my 27 biological age. 10, I am thankful that I am safe, loved, and guarded within the new earth reality. 11, my body naturally returns to a balanced, trim, fit, soft, glowing 27H biology. 12, I release guilt and instead focus on my life's goals and vision for a better body, mind, and environment. 13, I am God's child who looks over me, directing my path and my purpose. These statements all came out of doing these readings for Executive Power. 14, serendipity rules my creative expression, expanding them beyond the borders of limitation and resistance to change. 15, I am thin, fit, and fabulous. 16, my figure is divine perfection. 17, I miraculously regain my 27 biology. 1 of the main, foremost, first things where humans start having mental belief programs is in their age. Their small identity, consciousness, their age. Try talking to anyone. Say one thing. The minute you open your mouth, oh, you know you're gonna die anyway. You know you can't stop aging, no matter what you do. It's a vehement response. And what I have discovered through doing these readings and embodying this understanding and looking at it, it's more than a physical manifestation. It's a physical, mental. See, body, mind is one thing. So the mindset of someone who's 27 is someone that has something to look for the future. I'm going to build this. I'm going to create this. I'm going to prepare this because I'm looking forward to the future. When you're somebody who's 65, the normal thing is, oh, I'm getting to the end of my life. I got to retire. I just got to have fun. And just like become foolish. I'm losing my mind. I'm going to have Alzheimer's. All these horrible things. You have nothing to look forward to. Why bother? It's just a bad attitude. See? They say that when you get older, see what happens is you get older, your bad traits become worse. So you gotta be really careful. So 18, 38, 27, 35 are my measurements. 19, I pray each day to believe I deserve love and adoration from my partner. See, when I did the list, the preamble for this, and I did the list, I really, it was a process of me doing the readings and really coming down to this understanding that if I didn't change my relationship with my partner, there was no chance I'm going to do anything. And that if I couldn't start the beginning, middle, and end with that, then there was no point. Okay? 20, I see, so it just was so interesting because as I read the list, anytime any conversation or anything would come up and he was expressing something opposite of the list, I just felt this automatic detachment and just like I didn't feel the need or the desire or to convince him or to engage because I was just like, I know that I went through this, I know that I've been praying for this every day, and I know that this is the outcome, so I'm not doing this. I would even tell him, this is how you need to treat me, and this other thing is not going to work for me. And I really didn't know how it was going to turn out. I mean, I really think that I was of the mind of like, I'm at this loggerheads where this, you know, in one end, you know, financially, and I don't like being alone and all these other things. And then, yeah, we do get along and this, that, and the other, and all these other connections. But this other thing is just far outweighing. Because the more it happened, I saw how it was really just coming down and outweighing anything good. And that I was basically spinning my wheels. So I just got really serious about what I was doing. So look at the last video before this, and that's where I read the list. That was the preamble to everything for this reading. 20. I breathe deeply, knowing that my belief is what guides my path. 21. I am thankful to be in peaceful expectation of being in a love relationship with a man who shows and speaks only words of adoration and acts of mercy towards me. 22. I am protected by the Christ presence along with all of the angels to only allow loving, peaceful, supportive, and encouraging interactions with all people. See? So as I kept reading this, and then these relationships fell away, it was just a process of me redefining who I am in these relationships. And then the relationships were severed because they weren't willing, or they weren't able to come to the table and meet me with the vision I was having for myself. See? I am protected by the Christ presence along with all of the angels to only allow loving, peaceful, supportive, and encouraging interactions with all people. 23. I am surrounded by the diamond light frequencies being sent to me from the entire Fembot Alliance. I have a lot more. I don't think I'm going to actually be able to finish them. I'll try. 24. I am created anew as a young, vivacious, easy-swinging, stunning woman. 25. Red. I attract the perfect man which is rich and gives me a life worth living within the passionate, romantic life of deep love. 26. I youth in every day and every way. 27. Green, white, yellow, and blue, glowing 3 4-pronged wheels of exhilaration spin my highest alchemy outward towards my place being created within the family of life. See? So I'm putting the energy and the vision out there for the creation to happen. And I'm preparing my vessel in all those ways to step forward, and I'm clearing my path so that I can have a single eye vision towards my fruition. 28. Eagle, fly overhead, circling the vast energies of restoration, reclamation, and entering my home and community within the family of life. 29. Purple deep black velvet covering me back to a splendid time. Cobblestone streets, sidewalks light glowing down upon lovers in the deep black velvet night. Close to each other, basking within the glow of the universal energies and vibrations of ecstatic intelligence within the oneness of being within each other's electric body. 31. I am fully accepted within the family of life in a place provided for me to share my talents, gifts, and presence. 32. I am 100% healthy, whole, and easily returned to my 27 biology. 33. I am found not guilty to all people who need to insult my cause. 34. I am central casting director of all the people, places, and things in my life. 35. I am creating a jeweled vision of the Holy Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene combined. 35. I attract the perfect set of circumstances to redo my website and make my set available on Amazon. 36. I'm capable to get paid for my YouTube videos. 37. I can be free to be me. I have a future that is full of love. 38. I'm making a visual movie. Make a visual movie, vision board movie. So I will come back to video 9 of 12. I will see you later, and I love you or whatever. Okay, bye.